Survivor News.
Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News.
Survivor News. Survivor News.
Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News.
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? We are back this week with your Survivor News. We have reassembled the baby boys, and we are back after another amazing episode of Survivor Season 44, Episode 2. We welcome back the soon-to-be actor, Trader Joe's MVP, the Jack that is not Zach, but is the Jackery Atkins. What's going on?
What's going on, baby? Good to be back. Thank you for the introduction.
Yeah,
Just gonna be adding new titles all the time, man.
Yeah, you know, the people in the YouTube comments were enjoying Jackery being back. Okay, they said Jack is Trader Joe's MVP, but listen, we've got Jack here. Okay,
Is he Backery?
Oh, okay,
Ooh.
he could be Backery.
Hey,
Well,
Strawberry Backery.
Oh, that sounds
Strawberry
kinda good.
Jackery.
Ooh.
Well, I don't know. Jack has the Earth going around the sun another time. We have the winner of Ghost Island. We've got the multiple host on HGTV. We've got the another year older.
Don't do
The
that.
birthday boy.
When DZ is in the building. What it do, baby boy?
It is a pleasure to be back and another year older. And it's just good to be here with my baby boys. Let's do
Yeah.
this.
Yes, yes, yes. Before we get into the nitty gritty, I also just want to address the elephant in the room. Wendeezy. So we've been doing Survivor News for I don't know how long, and I am just really a really proud friend moment because I know what Jack's apartment looks like. I know what room he's recording in. Jack's room looks like what it gives. For the longest time, Wendeezy has been room fishing us. The room that you see now, it hasn't always looked like that, Jack. Like it literally was
Okay,
a
bye.
pile of SHIT
What are you
and then
talking about?
Wendell's desk. However,
No.
Wendell has to make room in his life. And he actually cleaned out that room. And I'm just happy to report that we no longer need to film season 2 of MTV's Roomfish because Wendell's room is actually a room. So
Oh,
congratulations, Wendeezy.
okay.
Yes, Wendell.
Okay, you got jokes. Listen here.
I think I caught a stray there, but
I was saying, Jack, your room, like I know a room you're recording in, and I know what it looks like, and that's what the room looks like. I mean, I'm sure there's probably a million clothes on the floor,
Ooh.
but I mean, that's just how Jack
Nobody's
get down.
safe.
Am I
Yeah.
lying, Jack?
no, I see a feet right behind me.
Yes.
Other than that, it's not too bad.
No. But I'm just saying, like, Wendell was just out here living a whole lie. But I'm
Don't do
happy
that.
to report.
No.
You can even tell by how the photos are hung up on the wall. They're like, I'm just happy to report that.
They're in the same spot that they were.
Okay.
All I did was painted the rooms with your help. With all we did, all we did you and I did was paint the room. And we left the nails in place so the pictures could go right back where they belonged.
Here's the thing, though, Jack. When I'm in LA and I'm like, hey, Jack, I'm coming over tomorrow morning to hang out / clean. Like, you're like, okay, I'll leave the gate open. When DZ will be like, hey, Pip, what are you doing? Come over. Let's talk Brice and Wen. So I'm like, oh, okay. And then I have to paint. Like, I just feel like
and then you have to paint.
That's not
I'd
how
be
it
like,
should
Perp, let's paint.
Oh.
You'd be like, cool. I'd be like, Perp.
Just so we are clear, Perp does not paint.
Okay. All right. I'd be like, Perp, Neats needs us to go clear out her attic. That's what we doing. Me, you, Dame Hatch. I'd be like, Perp, we got to go do some yard work. Me and you get out there and do some yard work.
Again, kind of a lie, but that's fine. Because
I'm gonna
I'll
leave
be
it alone.
raking the leaves for 2 hours and you're like, I got to put this box together. But anyway, listen, we are back. Sorry, because I don't want to get into semantics. But we are back. And a great episode. You know, we just celebrated a Wendy's birthday. We did actually a random Philly pop-up
Yeah.
in Philly, and it was definitely a delight. So much fun seeing some old and new faces. What was your thoughts on your birthday? I feel like Wendell is low-key a Jack with his buffs. We're like, Wendell, what do you want to do for your birthday? Can we watch some Survivor? We was like, okay.
Oh man,
That's commitment right there.
Well, the thing I'll say is, I think about what makes me happy, and I have a good time when we, get together and watch Survivor. And also, I thought, if I were to invite 10 of my friends anywhere, maybe 5 or 4 or 3 would show up. So I figured if we just do a pop-up watch party, at least we'll have a bunch of our friends and our, recently met friends through this community, and everyone could come out and have a good time.
Yeah, so shout out to all the people that came to our Philly watch party. Definitely some Survivor OG fans and some new faces, which was great to see. There was even someone, his name was Jeff, Jack, and he literally looked like Jeff Probst's. You
Son.
know how there's that new app on TikTok, Jack, where you like show your face and then it'll show you what you look like younger. It literally looked like Jeff Probst was on that app because he literally looks like Jeff Probst, and he had like
a
such
young Jeff.
a young Jeff. He had such a fun attitude and outlook, and he was just like so excited to be there. So it was like just great to be around great people. But although I was around a lot of great people, I'm excited to be around the great people that we will be with next week as we take the Brice and Wen Present Tour 44 to LA.
Let's
La La
go.
Land. We gonna see you out there, Jackery?
Of course. You know I'm gonna be there, and I'm bringing some friends too. So, man, I'm very excited. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where Jack's gonna put his buff.
It's just one?
Oh,
they're going all over.
Okay. Well, I mean,
I don't know.
I figure since we'll be out the West Coast as well, we hit LA and then we are hitting Seattle and Bay Bay. Now, what was the thing hiding in plain sight?
Mm-hmm.
Don't let Seattle hide in plain sight, okay? That's
Okay.
my word with play or play with word.
Uh-oh. Seattle, yeah, Seattle, we're coming. Brice, we just released tickets to all of the events. Some of the events, like we sold out of a certain level of tickets, whatever. We just released a lot of tickets to all of the events coming. So if you've ever clicked on something and didn't get a ticket now, all tickets are available. New York finale is going to be available within the next week, and we're going
I was
big.
gonna go
New
dummy.
York.
I mean, Seattle. I might be popping up to Seattle too. So,
and
if
yet,
there's any Jack fans out there,
the Jack Shack pull up.
yeah.
I'm excited for Seattle. The event, the space that we have is going to be so fun and so interactive that it's going to be like a Brice and Wen that we've never experienced. So I'm so excited. But, I'm excited for LA. I feel like, I love LA. The LA love me. The weather is warm. So, yeah, I'm just really excited. And, after that, then we are hitting, I believe it is Atlanta. It is Pittsburgh. It is Philadelphia. And then, the bang.
Don't forget Boston
and Boston. Right? Oh, trust me, Boston won't let me forget.
How long are you guys going to be in LA or surrounding this event?
We get in Monday night.
Okay.
And so Jack, let's I was wondering if we could do some. Should this be off? No, Jack.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter because
I was wondering if we could
we'll get the details off the pod, but
yeah,
we'll get into stuff all week
because the War Dog wants to play.
He does. He said that
well, he has a bedtime, so it's 8:00, so we got to do it before the bedtime. But
yeah, so War Dog wants to hang Tuesday night. We should grab food and eat somewhere cool.
100%.
Is Trader Joe's open?
I'm there.
Get the General
Tso's good restaurant too. So we could talk details off the pod, but man, I'm excited to have you guys in town. The LA events are always so live, so if you're in the area, guys, you got to come out. It's going to be a great time.
Now let's get into this episode. I'm so excited for this episode. I feel like we were talking a lot of how things coulda, woulda, shoulda played, and I feel like
we got some answers.
What I thought what was great. But listen, let's let's give it to our official moderator of season 44, Jack Atkins.
All right. Enough. All right.
Well, you're so busy with the watch parties and stuff that
it's
hard to take those diligent. I'm home alone. I'm in the lab.
I received that.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Another good episode. Like, the season's off to a really solid start. And just like you mentioned, Brice, I want to tie it back to sort of some things we talked about with the last episode. We had some questions answered, which I think was really fantastic to be able to like have the week to discuss like what coulda, shoulda, woulda been, and then get some closure. And so with that being said, I want to give some props to Matthew, because last week we discussed a little bit about, and he explains this at the start of the episode. You know, we sort of said, hey, if that shot in the dark play was to sort of leave himself kind of in the middle, and like we said, he probably clued in Brandon to play his idol because he wanted to keep Brandon but wanted to flush the idol and wanted to take out someone else and wanted to keep himself under the radar doing all of that. That's exactly what he said happened. And so I just want to give him some props because I think that was a really, really great move and sort of a new use of the shot in the dark that, like Brice was saying last week, we haven't seen before. And I think it's a really smart play. So wanted to give him some props on that. What did you guys think about that?
So essentially, he kind of he changed the game, and now he's giving people an option to he's giving people an option to abstain from voting, but you can only use your shot in the dark once. So now we have a blueprint for, all right, if you don't want to show your cards and you think you can do it in this particular vote, this is how you abstain from voting. I think it's a game-changing move.
I think it's even more than a game-changing move. One, I feel like he takes away from if he needs to use it again. However, I feel like at such a pivotal vote, the first vote that you go to kind of sort of like, you know, when they say you make your first impressions, and it's like for him to kind of
lay the groundwork,
right, from going either way, and now he literally can pick to which direction that he goes. I just think, again, season 44, we are off to a great start with Claire, you know, speaking to somebody during a challenge. We got my girl Lauren out here grabbing the right rock. And now we have what they say, we fall down, but we get up. Okay, Matthew might have took a tumble. Okay, but he has recovered in such a great way. And just listening to I believe Maddie's exit press last week, I guess what we didn't see was that she was saying that her name was floating around, and I think the editors like kind of left that off the episode, because remember, we were just wondering, like, sis, what is you doing? Why is you playing? Like, why are you doing that when it doesn't seem like, and here I am thinking she's doing it for the reason that Matt did it. But I have very high hopes for Matt because I just feel like he is playing the game on such a high level.
Yeah, he's been a lot of fun to watch. And then a little bit more camp life that we get at the start of the episode. We see Matt and Franny, their showmance really starts to blossom. Matt also talks about how he's going through a recent breakup. But, man, it seems like there's a spark there with him and Franny, which is really fun to watch. But also we see his tribe start to be a little bit more weary of it. And even see Claire telling Franny, like, yo, maybe get a little bit of distance because it could be a problem.
And then they're like, distance? And then they're naming the grasshopper Ernest. Like, I don't know.
Do you think in a small tribe like this is better for a Claire or better for a Matt and Franny? Because she sees them as the pair. You know, we know traditionally pairs, you know, get targeted. But in a small tribe, who is in a worse position, the two of them or the Claire?
That's a good point. Because actually, it's like they can be looked at as like, oh, we need to get them out, but actually, they might be stronger in numbers. And the one thing that I love about Franny and Matt is that it just seems like they enjoy their company. I don't really get like plotting and scheming, although they are, but I just feel like I get good vibes from them.
Yeah.
And like I just am trying to figure out in my life is that, you know, I'm in my 30s and I'm trying to get somebody to text me back consistently. Like, how do they go on Survivor? The odds of that, you get on the same tribe and then you just click. Like, Survivor guys, tell me what I'm doing wrong. Where is my Matt? Where is my Franny? I'd name a grasshopper.
I think what is so great about this pairing is that they're not your traditional showmance pairing. It's like
Yeah.
these two quirky people that have gotten together, and so it almost I think it's a little disarming, and I think it makes them almost less scary because they're these two just people that you want to like likable people. They're not like, you know, the jock and the, you know, whatever. They're quirky, fun people. So, you know, it'll be interesting to watch the tribe, you know, maneuver in this. And if they keep winning, they don't have to make any difficult decisions.
And who doesn't love a long palm frond?
Oh yeah.
Didn't he say like, what did he say? Like a fishing pole, a long pole?
Something. Let me see.
Oh
man.
yeah.
There was a lot of innuendo going on.
And you know I love a innuendo.
Yeah. And no, it's like I agree with all the above. And then it's also from like a strategic standpoint, it is a good question, Brice, because we haven't seen a showmance in a minute. And there's always this sort of like weird strategy element that comes into play with showmances. We don't always get to see it, but it is a good question of like, you know, I think a showmance presents itself an obvious target, especially in a small tribe, because like if you're losing, you know that's going to be a duo that's going to consistently vote together. So I think for the most part, it is sort of a situation where you might need to split that up, because it's like if one or two more votes goes down and they're going to have half the votes and like you can't do anything. What I will say is, especially because they are likable people, if you are like that natural potential like third wheel to them, I actually think being a third wheel to a showmance is a great spot to be in, because
you better
if you can get to the merge with them, then it's going to be a problem still. And so it's basically like your alliance is going to have a natural target in it before you. And so you're never really going to be the pick, I feel like. And you're going to have people that you know are going to be loyal to each other. And so if you can sort of slide in with them, I think there's already sort of a natural loyalty kind of present in that group, because there's trust between them. So if it's going to be like, oh, like, I love you guys. Like, I'm just the third wheel. Like, I want to work with you guys. I think they're going to kind of have a full sense of security and also be a shield for you. So if you have the right opportunity to work with the showmance, I think it's an interesting play.
How did that work out in Millennials versus Gen X? Do you remember that showmance?
Worked out pretty well.
Yeah, that's what what I'm saying.
Like for Adam, in the sense of like Adam, well, I guess he betrayed Figgy, but like by being with them when he was on that tribe
one though.
Yeah, when he was on that tribe swap, he was like his name didn't even come up. He naturally was in a swing position because it was the two Gen Xers. I think it was Ken and Jessica, and then Figgy and Taylor. And so he put himself in a middle position. I mean, obviously, then he stabs Figgy in the back, and then Taylor like tries to expose him at the marriage. But
yeah, I mean, needless to say, I'm here for Mac Franny. I like them. I like the fact that they just can't stay apart from each other. But I do question, like, and again, maybe you can tell me this. It seems like multiple people have come to Franny, like, girl, and then she's like, I've actually told them we need to like separate each other. Like, so is that good strategy on her part? Because now she's like filling in other people, is that making herself more available to like what other people are saying, or is that giving too much information?
I think it's better than it is worse, but it's just like, I don't know. It's a weird thing to think about, because I don't think you ever go out there expecting to get into a showmance. And then once you like slowly or quickly do, then and you really like the person, it's hard to like actually separate yourself. And I don't, obviously you want to try and you want to give the impression that you're not that close, but like in reality, right? Like they're gonna be a showmance no matter what.
What is the difference between, outside of the obvious, what's the difference between a showmance and a tight 2 alliance? Outside of the obvious.
I mean,
Well,
not that much.
but it's the obvious that makes it scarier, because like
Mhm.
if you have an attraction to a person that might, you know, lead to something after the game, even if you have that attraction to someone, I think that makes it harder to cut that person, as opposed to if you just have an alliance on the show. I think it's a lot easier to cut that person or to sway someone within that alliance to cut that person.
You didn't see a relationship with you and Dom outside of the game?
No, our alliance is a non-traditional alliance. Like a lot of these alliances aren't that tight and don't make it to the end. And we saw in each other a very clear path to the end.
And also, like a tight 2 alliance like that is, I mean, and this you said outside the obvious, but the obvious is so important to note. I feel like where you might have a tight 2 alliance and it might be a really scary thing, but you might just not be spending as much like quality time together that makes it as so apparent to the other players, right? Like you could have like a little secret alliance with someone that benefits your game, and it could be a very tight, loyal alliance. But might not be like flirting all the time, and so if people don't see us flirting, it's not as scary, I feel like. Whereas if you're like, yo, those people really like each other, they might not even like talk much game, but you just know that they're gonna not want to betray each other because they're like into each other.
Well, I also think of like Jesse and Cody. Like they were a tight pair that people knew operated together, and for the most
Yeah.
part felt as though they voted together. But then Jesse cut him at when it was time to.
Which isn't really, I don't think that would really happen with many showmances. So that's like to Wendell's point of like you could have a tight alliance, but at the end of the day, like be willing to betray them. But when you think it's like something that could happen outside of the game, I think that's a lot more difficult to do.
I will say, on Ghost Island, you had Sebastian and Jenna, and rumor they weren't really in a showmance before, well, on the show. But anyway, rumor has it they were sitting next to each other on the flight in, which is already peculiar because, like, on the flight to the show, you got 2 castaways sitting next to each other, and rumor has it that they were just talking to each other the whole flight in.
Oh.
And then all of a sudden, they get swapped here and there, and now they're on the same tribe with me, Laurel, Chris Noble, and we are Yanuya, the Green Tribe, and we're doing pretty well. We're just winning everything, so we don't have to make any tough calls. And they start like flirting and getting really close, and then ultimately they both get voted off, and they get in this relationship, which lasted a long, long time.
On my flight to Thailand, the only thing that was talking was my stomach.
Okay.
But again, talking about 2, I also wanted to talk about this conversation that happened right at the beginning of the episode. Brandon and Kane.
Ooh.
I thought that was so interesting because it was juicy. I feel like Brandon came back. He said, well, originally I was just going to play the idol. But I'm glad I didn't. And Matt is sitting there like, shot in the dark, shot in the dark. And Kane is like, well, see, what had happened was I just thought I was
with the numbers.
Now, and clearly Brandon was upset. And again, he is in his confessionals was saying that I tried not to get upset or be angry because I didn't want to let my people know that I was upset and angry, but I'm upset and angry. Is there a world that Kane can come back from this? Or do you think Brandon is going to forever have his side eye on him?
Well, first of all, again, they won this second episode, so they didn't have to make that tough decision. You win enough times and Kane is big and Brandon's big. You win enough times, you get Brice.
What?
I don't want any reactions. Okay, no facial. Kane is a larger person, and Brandon is a larger person. So strength wise, I mean, so like if you
Tell me more.
what I'm saying is there's a possibility that in a 3-tribe dynamic that they don't come in last place and have to go to tribal council before some kind of swap. So there is a world in which they can coexist somewhat until there's a swap.
Would you be able to let that go, Jack?
I mean, it's not easy, but I think a good player needs to be able to let it go, or at least give the impression that they have. But like honestly, like I know it's kind of a unique spot because Kane is the only person left who voted for Brandon, but it's like, there's still 2 people that didn't vote, and if that's where the thought that like Kane is the type of player where he's just gonna go with the numbers, so it's not really like a personal. And he was kind of close to Maddie, it seems like. So I don't know if I was Kane, I'd be like, hey, like I didn't really have much agency. Like I heard it was between you and Maddie. Like I like you, but Maddie was kind of my closest ally, so I didn't want to vote for her, and and everyone else was saying to vote for you. That kind of left one option, man. And it's like it's a slow road to fixing that relationship, but I think you gotta really just kind of I don't like swallow your pride and just try to suck up to Brandon and try to fix it. And then Brandon, it's like I don't know. I think the logic of like that Kane is presenting. Obviously, you don't want someone who voted for you, but like fact of the matter is, it's if he really looks at it, probably most of the tribe would have voted for him. So it's just kind of like just because people didn't put pen to parchment doesn't mean that they're not basically just as guilty as Kane is. So if you're Brandon, honestly, I feel like he is going to be a little bit more. He's going to hold a little bit more of a grudge. But in reality, it's like, Brandon, you low-key still might be on the bottom of the tribe, man. So you kind of have to swallow your pride too and really try to just mend those relationships. Even if it doesn't I don't know. I think you just have to work to give the impression that at least like the relationship is fixed. Like whether you actually still want to vote them out or not, up to you. But you can't hold a grudge.
Who's in a better position?
Probably Brandon.
I would say Brandon because Brandon has Matt.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I think Matthew kind of has the control on this tribe, and clearly he stuck his neck out to save Brandon a little bit last episode. So it's like, why would you do that just to get rid of him?
Right. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have a problem swallowing my pride either. But
continue on.
Where we go next, Jack?
Yeah. So next up we have it's sort of a big combination of all centered around the bird cage. And so we get a lot of content from both Tika and Soka. Let's just kick it off with Soka because it was just a little bit more clear cut. But we get Danny sneaking off, finds the idol stealthily, does a little dancey dance, or finds the key, goes to the cage, recovers all the treasured goods, and then is able to replace either the bag. I don't know if he waited, but replaces the bag, locks the cage, and as far as we know, gets away with it all without anyone even knowing any better. And so Danny really, really crushed that. What did you guys think about the whole Danny segment?
I thought it was great, and clearly we can see what Survivor is trying to do because I specifically watched that, and it appeared that the parchment that said that this is a fake idol was not attached to the other. So it is who would not put the parchment back and that fake idol. And yeah, my thing is, I thought it was great. Danny killed it. Okay, Danny said, when you at home, you looking for your phone, keys, wallet. Out here, you looking for bamboo, palm fronds, and idols. And so I love Danny's energy. And clearly, again, I'm also loving Claire narrating. I love Claire narrating the camp. Like I'm the lazy liaison, right? And she like, listen, we can't keep up with him. So let's all just take a break. Like, we could go at it in shifts. But I think Danny handled it the right way. And it's like, I'm not telling nobody. I'm keeping this for myself.
Yup.
Like, yes.
He has a lot of good one-liners for sure.
That's what I was gonna say.
When he was like, I don't know the best way to find an idol, but I know the worst way, and it's not looking. I was like, that's pretty true. Like,
he said as soon as he got it, he's like, I can't wait to tell everyone. Because that's what people do. They freaking tell everyone. Then he's like, oh, wait, I'm not telling anyone. It's like, that's how you play Survivor. His energy, it's awesome watching him run around. It's almost like watching a Tony run around during Cagayan. High energy, fun one-liners.
Doing somersaults.
Hitting the floss.
Yeah.
Whatever. How do you do that, Brice?
Jack can show us.
This
Right.
is such a 2015 dance, though.
Go ahead, Jack.
Hit
it.
I mean, I could do it, but it's not even cool.
Well, Jack, you
I
make
hate
it
to
cool.
say it.
Let's see it, Jackery.
I feel like I'm like a 14-year-old playing Fortnite. No
Let's
disrespect to Danny, because everything other, it's like you just hit a little of that.
Hey,
But-
Brice, how you do it, Brice? How you do
Bryce
it?
is just hitting the
Uncoordinated?
quans.
How
Okay.
you doing,
Hit
Brice?
the quad. Hit the quad.
So
Yeah, you should have hit the coin.
Right.
And then in the trailer for next episode, we also see Danny eating some parchment paper. Not to get too ahead, but I'm just excited about all of Danny's antics. It's a lot of fun.
can we stay on him for 1 minute? So Brice, when you said Brice, fix your
What?
face. Can we stay on the topic of Danny for 1 minute? When you said you saw
Sorry, I just swallowed my pride.
when you said you saw
That was Jack. Jack swallowed his pride.
I'm gonna hand in my pink slip at the end of this this pod. Okay. I'm out of here.
Oh, I didn't know what.
So when Brice, when you said that you saw that it was 2 pieces of parchment,
Mm-hmm.
so feasibly Danny can replace that parchment and the fake in there. Let's walk this through a little bit. This is Survivor giving a very clear route to someone playing a fake idol and making for a great moment.
But I want, if you don't believe it or not, Jack might be in acting classes, but I am all for the theatrics. I want Danny to put the key back,
Yeah.
put it somewhere, and be walking with somebody, and be like, kind of sort of hype it up, and then I don't know. There's so many ways, but all I know is I want somebody to play that idol and think that they are really playing that idol.
They might play it for somebody else.
Oh.
This is for my good friend Claire. People have been targeting her, and I'm playing it for her to save her.
Can you imagine if Eliza was on that season and somebody gave her that?
She'd be like,
Yeah.
legit. Wait, but I'm just still playing it through. Someone has this. They're at tribal. They play it. It's a fake. They go home, or their ally goes home. Now people get back to camp, and they're like, in this bird cage was the real parchment, or what looked like a real idol. All right, someone here has an idol. It'll be crazy.
Yeah. There's definitely options.
Or
Generally, I don't know if I'd go for the replacement method, because I feel like I'd rather like have it on hand and be able to like do something with it than just like let someone else find it. But what you did mention that I think also could be a good play is like you put the fake back with the real paper, you go out with someone, like find it intentional, like find the key yourself. You'd be like, all right, guys, like let's go open it up. Come on, guys. And then you like bring everyone out, but Danny has the key, or you got the key. You open it up, you grab the bag, and you're like, oh shoot, I just found a real idol. And everyone's like, oh. And then you're like, yo, like, just because you guys, I'm just going to play it next tribal. Like, I don't want to mess around. Like, straight up on my life, I'm going to play it next tribal. And then everyone's like, all right, we're not even going to vote for Danny because he's going to play it next tribal. You go to the next tribal, you actually play it, and then Jeff's going to be like, Danny, this isn't a real idol. And you'd be like, no. And then everyone's going to be like, oh, shoot, someone else must have the real idol. And then they're never going to think Danny has the real idol. And you basically buy yourself a free tribal because you're just like, yeah, I'm going to play this. Like, swear to God. Like, if I don't play, you could vote me out. And everyone's going to be like, all right, well, we're not going to vote for Danny. Like, he's got the real idol. So you're, especially in this stage of the game, a free round like that could be huge. And then you save your real idol.
Yeah.
I would even love someone to start a live tribal. Like if the votes are clearly going to Wendell, you pull out that idol and be like, you know what? I don't really like the way things are going with Wendell. Here's the parchment. Here's my idol. And I'm potentially going to play this with Wendell.
Yeah.
Then you walk over to Wendell and start the and like start having the votes. I mean, I would just.
There's a lot of options. That threat of having an idol, especially with the parchment, we've seen it in recent seasons. Like when the idol is open knowledge, people honestly just kind of stay away from that person.
Yeah.
I think another thing you could do is you use if you're worried you're gonna go home and you might want to play your real idol. You could play the fake one first, get everyone's reactions, and then if they're like, oh, then you go play the real one. And like, but if they're like, oh, like you didn't need to play that, yeah, then you'd be like, oh shit.
You know what else I thought of? Although, who got you can steal all of the advantages?
Sarah.
Can you imagine if I brought the fake idol and she plays that and you have to give her the fake idol? Because it's whatever is this whatever is used played, or whatever is at tribal?
Played. So
whatever's played.
So yeah, so feasibly someone might play that. Depends on how she has to. Depends on how the mechanism, the way she plays that. You know, I don't think we know how it's played, but if someone plays a fake, he announces it's a fake. All right, here you go, Sarah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I thought it was like whatever you had in the thing. But I got a question for y'all. Have you
Well, damn. Damn. Brice is excited about something.
Okay. It's not even going to say no more.
Glad you got a kick out of it.
Have either of you ever experienced putting your hand in a hole and a snake jumping out? Has that ever happened?
Bryce.
No, because I'm saying Carolyn.
Bryce, you're a freak.
Carolyn climbed that tree. She was looking for the snake. She was looking for the idol. Okay. And what she didn't know was she was searching around that tree and she said, ah!
Brice, you first of all, you would have been happy finding a snake, wouldn't you? Secondly, they ain't hiding the idol all the way up there in the tree.
No.
For any of you guys going out there, that's not where it will be, okay?
I thought Carolyn was going to be like, maybe they have the snake guarding the idol, and I got to go back up there.
I wouldn't put it past our girl, Carolyn.
It reminds me of the time I was searching through my son's feces for 3 days to find his tooth. What a weird story that was.
I found it.
I found it.
First of all, Carolyn. Did you guys ever swallow a penny?
A what?
A penny or a quarter?
No.
You know, some kids like swallow like things when they're younger, like so. And then you have to go to the emergency room, and the doctor be looking like
the doctor. No, Brice. No.
What doctor are you going to?
Oh, Brice.
I went and got a colonic.
Oh, Brice. Brice, this is disgusting. What else, Brice? You got another one? What else, Brice? Go ahead.
Jack, when me and Wendell got off the plane in South Africa.
We saw some snakes out there too.
But first of all, I love everything about Carolyn.
Carolyn.
I feel like I just love everything about her. I just can't wait to meet her because I just feel like there is something about myself that I feel like I feel like I get Carolyn. And again, I wanted to pose this question because uh hold on, where is it? Um I wanted to pose this question because interesting enough, right? The birdcage dilemma. And shout out to the people in the YouTube comments that said that they watched the birdcage. Like, yes, it's an amazing movie. I am the idol. But I think it's so interesting because we have someone like a Danny who was like in and out and got it. And then we have someone like Carolyn, and it's like Carolyn being herself on this tribe, her getting it worked out in her favor because she's Carolyn. Like, I was so confused as the tribe. Like, when Carolyn went and got it, then she went back and was like, oh no, I gotta put it back because they're going like, and then it's like, it's Jam Jam, it's Carson, and it's Helen and Sarah, right? They're walking back and they're like, something's been touched. It's been touched. And it's like,
there's only one person missing.
There's only one person that's not.
Y'all were together the whole time.
Yeah,
but because it's Carolyn.
Okay? It's like, hey, Carolyn, do you have the idol? Like, but also what I loved is that I love how smart Carson is. And he's like, immediately, because I've read these books about the FBI, I'm like, somebody's being deceptive. And they're like, Jam Jam's been so excited to get the idol. He's pissed. I know he don't got it. Helen Ball, like, I just think the way in which how that tribe disseminated that information, and like the fact that Carolyn was not with them, I think it worked out so well for her.
It was weird, yeah. Especially also because I think they were like, when didn't they ask her like when you went and looked over like this other spot? What did you? She was like, just more snakes. And I was like, don't they like control like this? Like seeing a snake on Survivor is pretty rare, right? Like you'd think if she really did see like 4 more snakes, she'd be like, she's like, you're not gonna believe it.
More snakes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's so strange that if 4 of them are together the whole time and one is not,
really weird.
And then 4 of them pull up on it and something's different about it, that Carolyn is so she's such a character that they're not like immediately she has it. They're looking at the 4 of them as if one of them cloned themselves or something.
They're underestimating the fact that she is so reactionary. And even Carson was like, wait until I tell Carolyn. Like, like, we got to tell her. She's going to flip out. And it's like, in that moment, like, Carolyn walked over and they was like, look, Carolyn, it's been open. She was like, oh, yeah, somebody touched it. Like, it really played in her favor. And I don't know. I just love it because I just feel like sometimes when you go out to play Survivor, you want to fall into these different roles, or like, I gotta be so strategic. I gotta be like so myself. And it's like, actually, no. For somebody like a Carolyn, it just worked out perfectly for her just showing up as herself. Another thing that I wanted to notice was Jam Jam. I love how Jam Jam is like, he goes from super fun to like, I see his seriousness. But he's like, I mean, listen, y'all, let's go out and look for the idol just for fun. Like his undertone of like, no, but I'm really out here looking for the idol. Like, I was just like, okay. Like, I just like the fact that how he masked like his actual intent in like his bubbly fun self, which in my opinion tells me that like, y'all better not sleep on Jam Jam because like he is, I don't know. I like the way he wields his power in such a fun, friendly way. But honestly, I just love everything about the Purple Tribe because it's like you have a Carson who's like, I'm a NASA engineer. I don't want to let them tell me. Like, I don't want them to know how smart I am. Then we have like a Helen, we have a Sarah, we've got a Jam Jam, we've got a Carolyn. I think the dynamics on that tribe are just
Yeah,
So
it's a fun
amazing.
tribe for sure.
Yeah, shout
Yeah.
out to Carolyn, friend of the show too, right? She gives a listen here and
Yes.
there.
She said when she was flying out to Fiji, she had downloaded the Amorion Icebox song because we were singing it on Survivor News.
Hey.
So we shout out to you, Queen Carolyn.
One more question on this subject matter. When you were talking about Carson, the man is so smart, right?
We love him.
We love Carson. But I will say, what he said when he was reading this body language is, what was it? Helen's hands were
Crossed
crossed,
her arms.
so she's got something to hide.
Yeah. Also, Jam Jam said it about Sarah. Jam Jam was like, she's touching her chest.
And then Sarah said something about Jam Jam. It
And-
seemed like
Yeah.
all the fingers were being
It
pointed.
was like
everywhere.
a murder mystery, and they're all Honestly, also good on Sarah because she was able to like clear out her bag and stuff without. I don't know what she did with her advantage because she's already found one, but they didn't figure anything out about that. So
I also thought like Purple tried. Love y'all. But don't y'all think like if we were searching each other's bags,
yeah, you
I'm
would
gonna
search other people's.
you would search
bag.
other people's
Yeah.
bag because like you could just hold the idol at the bottom. And I believe somebody even did that on a season before where it's like it's
Yeah.
easy for you to just wrap the idol in like your underwear and pull it out. But yeah. It was
Yeah,
like the honor system.
Yeah, it was kind
Everyone
of weird.
hand your bag to the right.
Right.
Yeah,
But also they didn't make Carolyn dump her.
I
bag.
know.
Crazy.
They're probably afraid of what would have been in there.
And then you think of
whose tooth is this?
And then you think of it, they just checked everyone's bags except for Carolyn. Carolyn was the one person not there when the idol was found, and they're still not pointing fingers at her.
That's
Unbelievable.
And the last thing I wanted to say about so now that all the bird cages have been opened and all the goodies have been found, I think what I believe this is true is that I think all of the fake idols for each tribe looks like the real idol for another tribe. So like Danny's fake idol was like the little coin, and then Carolyn found the real idol and it was like the little coin, and then her fake idol was like the beads. And then I guess on the Ratu tribe, I don't know if it was the same, but I know that the Danny's fake was the silver coin and Carolyn's real one was the silver coin. So now there's like a potential for like
That's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, they're doing it this season.
Do we have Carson from season 44 on the podcast? Like, okay, Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good eye, Jack.
No, I just thought that was. I mean, yeah. Now there's a whole lot of potential for like. I mean, at the very least, it'll be like what if Carolyn plays hers, Danny's gonna be like, huh? Like I thought that was the fake one.
Yeah, that's gonna be that's gonna lead to some cool stuff.
Yeah.
And they will assume because they've seen Survivor that there's a bird cage on each tribe, right? You would assume that they would assume that.
Yeah, I think so.
And then you get like a Danny with his fake one that looks like the coin.
Yeah.
And then he sees it post whatever merge or whatever or post swap. He sees this other coin. He's like, nah, that's a fake. I know it.
Yeah.
And someone plays it and it's a real. Yeah, this is a.
But then if they play it and it's real, he can be like, oh well, that just like drove the stock of my fake one all the way up. Because now if I have the note and I have that, it's just looks real.
Yeah, that's gonna lead to some things.
But then I'm not sure if like it's the same with I don't know, what was Danny's? I think Danny's real one might have been the Orange Tribe's fake one too. But I think that Carolyn's fake is the real one on the Orange group. So I don't know if it goes all the way around, but I know that at least with the silver coins, one is real and one's fake.
I'm sure it goes all the way around because like all you need is 3 sets of 2 things.
Yeah, but then Carolyn's fake idol was just a little like string of beads. And I was like, I don't think that wasn't what Brandon played. I don't think.
I don't know.
I thought Brandon played like a real like little circle idol. But anyways, yeah, I thought that was cool. But moving on, now we're at the immunity challenge. Are we ready to die? Yeah. So this one's just an obstacle course. you know, they got to go over and under nets. They got to raise the ladder. They got to cross over the bridge while they're holding it with the rope, and then it all culminates in like one of those vertical snake mazes where you have to guide the boat. We did this one in South Africa, I remember, which was a lot of fun.
Yes.
But yeah, so fun. That's a fun puzzle, pretty fun challenge. Ultimately, and they're playing for fishing gear as a reward as well. So the winning tribe gets a full set. Second place, I think, gets a mask and like a snorkel and maybe a spear. I'm not sure, but you know, things are pretty neck and neck going into the snake maze, and it turns out that so Matthew ends up kind of dominating it, and then it's pretty close, but Josh ends up pulling it out for Soka, giving them second place, and sending Tika to tribal council. And Matthew tells Jeff that he had built this at home and had been practicing it for years, which not sure I would have shared that information. Yeah.
TMI, brother. Say that after, you know, yeah. Nope,
Yeah.
TMI.
But guys, what were our takeaways from the challenge?
I love these 3-part challenges. I love that. I love the team building. I love the physical aspect. For me, it was the people sliding down the slides. I just, you know, Jam face sliding down. I think Claire had another funny face. And again, I don't know why my heart beats so much, because I like it when we do these challenges and then there are 2 people. And I feel like when Survivor has done the snake challenge before, I feel like it's been a 2-person challenge. So it always makes me nervous when you get to the end and it's that one person that steps up to do it, because ultimately, if you don't get it, then your hand is going into the snake's nest and I don't know what's jumping out at you. But I love these just combinations of challenges. I think that it's great. And again, if you want to be not an outlier, but it's just a challenge that you can kind of sort of be able to hide in plain sight.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the challenge, Claire sits out again. And I think Probst stirs the pot a little bit. He's like, is that a volunteer or a tribe decision? And she's like, I want both. And he's like,
Yeah. I wonder if there was like a reward that we missed, because I thought you weren't allowed to sit back to back.
Maybe.
That is a good point. Well,
But
normally
then there was a reward in this challenge too.
Right.
So it was kinda like,
I was just curious, because was Claire the only person that sat out?
yeah.
So I was curious if maybe Claire was like, let me sit out again so that I could probe someone else. But
Oh, that's a good point. But yeah, it was the other tribes both had 5, so it was just
Right.
her.
Do you think they'll start to look at her like Claire is sitting out, not because she's not great at challenges, but because she has an ulterior motive around this sit out bench or anything like that? Do you think her tribe might look at her that way, or anyone?
Hard to
If it
say,
happens
because
again, maybe.
there have been challenges where I know on my season, Alexa set out a couple of challenges just because she was having some issues and they didn't really like broadcast it.
Yep.
So she kind of was sort of forced to sit out. I wonder if that's a thing and we don't really know what's going on.
If that was a thing, if she was having some sort of issues, I don't think Probst would have probed.
True.
But anyway,
I don't really know. I mean, her
We'll see.
tribe is pretty, like, she's definitely looks like she would be solid in the challenges, but her
Yeah.
tribe is also pretty solid all around. You know, like Heidi is a competitor. Franny
Yeah.
looks like pretty athletic. So
Right.
I don't know. It's definitely a little weird. Like, I would have thought Claire might have played this one, but maybe, yeah. I'd say, as far as Wendell's question goes, if it happens again, maybe there would be something more.
But
Where you're
you
like,
know,
yeah.
you know how it is though, Wendell. I mean, I've only gone through this 3 times, but when someone does have to sit out and everyone, like, sometimes you'll just stare at each other because no one really wants to, and then Jeff will be like, 5 seconds, y'all. So again, maybe it could be Claire thinking like, let me just step up since nobody wants to, like, I don't know, because
Yeah.
sometimes that is a thing.
That's probably like what it, yeah, that's definitely a factor. Because when no one wants to sit out, it could be awkward. So if you're just kind of like I'll do it.
Like, right, I'll take one for the team. I mean, and again, she is the self-proclaimed lazy liaison. So I mean, maybe she's like, let me get my break in. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Or maybe she's gonna be really good in challenges and just kind of wants to hide it a little bit, for the time being. I don't know. But
And it's like, do they really notice if they win? I think more so if they would have lost, it would have been more of an issue as opposed to winning. Like you said with like Brandon and Kane, situation like this. Like you can sit out, but if we win in, who's really taking notes? Besides Jeff Probin.
Speaking of Brandon, I got a question.
What's that?
Did you take note of his wardrobe in this challenge? He had these canvas Vans on, and I'm like, all right, they fly. Like, I just see other people with like water shoes or Hokas or running shoes, and then you see him with these canvas Vans. And I'm just like, bro, that can't be the ideal Survivor challenge sneaker.
Brandon is going for style.
True. Style points on a beam.
you gotta have the
But yeah.
style points.
Yeah.
But
So-
yeah, and then when finishing it off with Matthews, I just want to touch on it. Like, I think it was a really bad idea to be like, yeah, I built this and I've been practicing it for years. Because if you've done that, it's like, what else did you do to prepare?
Yeah.
Like, and like, clearly you really want this, and like, obviously everyone really wants it. But Carson says after he's like, yeah, I like 3D printed like puzzles and things like that. But I'm not going to tell that to people. Like, what's the benefit? There's no benefit.
So I think we love Matthew, and clearly we know Matthew is excited. I am thinking that Matthew's Achilles heel is going to rear itself, and it kind of sort of already has with him climbing the thing. Like The Rock said, sit down. But again, I love his excitement. I almost feel like he might get overplayed, and that, like, like, because he's just. But
yeah, he's gonna go too hard in the paint.
You know what happened when you go too.
Carolyn, if you're watching this right now,
We love you.
if you're listening to it, I mean, Brice continues to put your image up where you are covered in mud and screaming.
No press is bad press.
Listen, we love Carolyn. I think when we get to this, so my question is, now that we know the purple team is going in, automatically, who do you think is going home?
Carolyn.
I thought it would be Carolyn, but obviously we know she has the idol. But from a sheer numbers standpoint, I was thinking it would be Carolyn.
But also, I will say, even like assume with these, you assume that she might be the one on the outs because she's a little quirky, right? And then you also make another assumption that, okay, she seems like the person that wants to talk about this idol or share this info. So it's like, Carolyn, we love you. We want to watch your incredible character do what you do this season. Do not tell someone about this idol. Do not like. And as we see throughout the rest of the episode, like she does right with the idol in her pocket.
But you can tell that it is weighing on our good sis Carolyn because she is having to hold it in. What I thought so interesting was Sarah, Helen, and Carson. Mind you, I love their alliance that they formed, but I'm like, Cardinal Rule 107.342 is, so they came up with the consensus for Carolyn. And then it's like, the way that they presented it to Jam Jam was all wrong.
How they do it?
Well, they went up to him and were like, the census is Carolyn, right? So, and of course, they're trying to have an open forum, right? But if it's just Jam Jam and y'all three, like, what is he really supposed to say in that situation? Like, I felt like they should have sent a representative over.
Hey, Jam Jam, what you thinking?
Like, because it never really was a point of like, what are you thinking? And I feel like Jam Jam in that situation did exactly what needed to be done. Sure. But then it's like, why would you ever go with who they're telling you to? Like, it just like, and so again, for Jam Jam to have that wherewithal to like know that there are another options around. And again, clearly, if y'all are presenting Carolyn to us, one, who you presenting to Carolyn? And two, y'all are letting me know that y'all are 3 strong.
Yeah, definitely. No, 100%. And I don't know what the status is on people knowing whether Sarah has her vote or not. But obviously, if you know that she doesn't have a vote, you have a lot more leverage because,
Right.
I think that might have factored in, like, moving forward, like Carson kind of ends up in a swing position. And that could have been a big factor in Carson's decision where if Jam Jam wasn't on board, you're not going to make it a tie. So you kind of got to get on their side of the vote and avoid the tie and send Helen home. I don't know. Yeah. Speaking of Carson's sort of central position in this vote, like if you guys were in his shoes, what would your approach have been?
I mean, I feel like Carson is the Matthew on this tribe. He is the swing vote. And I feel like he had a good sense knowing that. I mean, clearly he went with the other side because again, and another thing that I love, sorry, just a little off topic. I just love that Jam Jam is their strongest player and they see it and they know it and he delivers. Like, oh, sorry, just little so
That's
for
true.
Jam,
Yeah.
and again, sometimes I'm just talking for representation wise, for a queer man of color to be bigger, normally you don't equate that to strong but I just love the fact that like, he carried that tribe.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It for me, it seemed like Carson was super close with Sarah and Helen, but for me, it's like, okay, maybe Carson really is playing this game.
Well, Brice, but what's his motive for going the other way then? Like, yeah, he is really playing this game because he just like we saw him make this alliance with like the young crew, and now he's like, I'm going with y'all. But what's the why?
Cause boys just don't wanna have fun. Oh, boys just don't wanna have fun. Like, I think again, Carolyn and I get this just my assumption. Carolyn just being herself, Jam Jam being strategic, strong, but still Jam Jam, Carolyn being Carolyn. And maybe Carson is saying, if this is the final 3, who would I want to align myself with more? A Sarah and a Helen, somebody that's strategically, from what I could see playing this game, or is my better shot in the dark with a Jam Jam and a Carolyn?
Yes. So that could be it. He's thinking, man, okay, I can choose right now, and I'd rather go with people that I think I might have a better shot against, as opposed to people that seem like they might give me a run for my money.
And tell me if this is something, right? Carson went with the plan that Jam Jam and Carolyn brought to him.
That's big.
And, you know what I mean? Like, so again, like I just look at that situation as to, because before he's bringing them information, now I don't know. I just feel like this cohesive team of them works out really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I was wondering the same thing though, because I don't know, if I was in Carson's shoes, I really thought that I would go with Sarah and Helen. It's right from the jump, it's same age group. It felt
Yeah.
like they had a really friendly vibe. Honestly, I thought, going with Helen and Sarah, 2 really smart, strong players, like that, I'd actually prefer that shield because now if I go with Jam Jam and Carolyn and that becomes an alliance, and if I'm on the outside looking in on that alliance, I'm going to be like, all right, who might be calling the shots there? It might actually be Carson because Carolyn's not going to be the big threat in that group as far as like guiding the vote. And so I just think you're kind of putting your, I don't know. I feel like if you went with Helen and Sarah, like A, they have a really good rapport and it's probably going to be a really solid group for a while. And then B, it's like you have some shields in your alliance, which I think is always solid. But what I would guess happened is that I'm guessing the fact that Sarah didn't have a vote might have come out. And so with that being said, I'm guessing Jam Jam probably kind of strong-armed Carson. Not in like I'm sure he did it pretty like tactfully, but Jam Jam was probably like, look, I don't want to vote Carolyn out. So like, if you want to make it a tie, like feel free, but like I can't. Jam Jam was probably I can't vote out Carolyn. So like, what's the other option? But I
Who do
don't
you?
know. I also see the benefits of going with Carolyn and Jam Jam.
I also feel like one, maybe Carson going with Sarah and Helen was a safe, and sometimes people in Survivor, they just always play it safe. And baby boy Carson out here trying to make moves. Another question is, who do you feel like, say if Carson went with Helen and Sarah as opposed to with Jam Jam and Carolyn, who do you think this move, if you're Carson, would be more indebted to you? Like,
I
I would,
guess, but we also see Carolyn like now. Like I thought it was weird that Carolyn was very like, "Oh, Carson, like, why would you even want to vote with me?" Like,
but
and
I thought that was a good question,
it
though.
is, but I don't think that's a question you actually want to ask the person because it shows that you're not really like fully trusting them. Now, maybe Carson's like, okay, once I vote with her, I'll prove myself, and she will feel indebted. Which is a good point. I also feel like Carson's relationship with like Jam Jam is probably closer with him than maybe anyone else. Like maybe that's something we didn't see either, where Carson's like, yeah, the Carolyn's kind of a wild card, but like me and Jam Jam can run this tribe down to the two.
I agree with that statement. You know why I agree with that statement? When they were at Tribal and Jam Jam was like, my antennas go up, Carson was dying at that joke. Like, Carson was losing it.
Yeah,
I mean,
because it is like I don't know. Maybe Carson's like if I go with Sarah and Helen, like Helen and Sarah might be a tighter two. Not that we've fully seen it, but they just similar age. Like I could see that they're like pretty friendly. So maybe Carson's like, you know what? Worst case scenario, like if this tribe gets down to it, hopefully I can put myself in the two. Or and also now it's like we can't uh cancel out the fact that like if they go to tribal again, maybe this time it's like Carson, Sarah grab Jam Jam, and then they vote out Carolyn, and then Carson's going to be the swing vote. I don't know. I don't know that at that point Jam Jam would vote out Carolyn, but I think it could be a classic, like almost like a Kagayan, where Cass and Tosh were like, all right, first we're going to take out Garrett, but then at some point they're like, all right, Spencer might actually be an asset to us down the line, so we're just gonna take out Jatia, who, as far as like stand in the game, kind of similar to a Carolyn.
question for you, Jack. I think in our hypothesis of why Carson went with Carolyn, riddle me this, because we know that they know there's an idol. So, and I would think that the way that people voted was also in the event that someone played an idol. So
Hmm.
make sense. Try to make sense of that, you or Wendell, of
Oh
how that.
yeah, I think also I saw someone talking about the fact that based on Carson's read on body language, he
He
probably thought it was
thought
the most
Helen.
likely that Helen would have the idol.
Mm.
So, and if he really thinks she is voting Carolyn, then it's like, okay, put a vote on her. If she plays the idol, Carolyn's gonna go home. But like, yeah, I think that was probably a factor too.
I also thought of it as the same way, but for Jam Jam's benefit, right? Because Jam Jam thought it was Sarah that had the idol. And so he's like, if I get rid of Helen, I have a relationship with Carson. And now Sarah is kind of sort of out on her own. So that could have been as well. But also, can we give props to Carolyn for
Yeah,
not actually playing the idol? Can you imagine? From what we have seen of Carolyn and how vocal and how, when Carson said that he would vote with them, Carolyn got down on the floors, and started sprinkling herself like. So I think that people might be underestimating Carolyn because, again, she showed up as her full self and we get to see it, and I love it. But the fact that she was able to hold it in and not play an idol.
Kudos to her. Yeah, she fell down. When she was getting up, she was like, "I'm not normal." and she embraces her strange, and I love that. I did have a question about tribal, as far as Sarah. Do you think that Sarah knew where the votes were going, or do we know if she knew? Because she didn't vote, right? So it's like you
Right.
have
Yeah.
3
I would
votes.
lean towards probably not, but because like if you are suspicious that Helen has the idol, you don't really want to tell Sarah.
Yeah.
Um, and also just given now her standing in the tribe, it is something that you could probably just go to her after tribal and give her the explanation, and she doesn't have a whole lot of a like much other choice than to be like, okay, like sounds good. I don't know.
So I also have a question for you, gentlemen. You know me, I am very big on the third boot.
Mm-hmm.
And I post this to Twitter, and Twitter was getting me together
Mm-hmm.
because, in my opinion, Helen is the second boot. But my people on Twitter said that when Jeffrey snubbed Helen's torch, he said the third person voted out of Survivor 44, Helen.
Yeah, yeah, it's a little weird terminology from Jeff, but I think I would say this is the third boot. You know, like obviously the like Bruce's situation was a little bit not a vote out, of course, but like the third person out, I think is the third boot basically.
Yeah, I think we should. I think we should just get into that habit of calling that third person out the third boot
Yeah.
Okay.
to make it easy.
Okay.
So
So,
would you accept her into your
oh,
exclusive and very
absolutely. First of all, for her to come off the Purple Tribe,
mm,
I love my sister Helen,
mhm.
and I reached out to her, sent a little message. But yeah, no, I am honored and privileged. I'm so sorry that your time was short, but there is a life after. And I hope that she takes this title with bells and whistles on. And to the rest of the people that are on the tribe, I don't even remember their names.
Ooh.
But no, I think we all sign up for this game. And in order, if you love Survivor as much as Carson and Jack love Survivor, then you understand that there are people that go home early and that are people that make it to the end. Regardless of that fact, we all are Survivor players. And my hat's off to Queen Helen. She went home extremely too early. She was extremely talented. But, that's sometimes how, sometimes you got to swallow your pride. And we love Queen Helen and we accept her with open arms. I have this purple beanie that just happens to be sitting over here that, I will
It's better than $1 million.
I will bestow this beanie made out of crystals onto the third person eliminated to the new club of the third elimination. We welcome, we love, and we honor you.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm.
Okay. Now, Helen gonna go on, get her own talk show, get a Tesla endorsement. Vans gonna call her. Because Brandon was wearing Vans, and they gonna call Helen, and it's gonna be Queen Helen.
I know that's right.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Is that her new nickname? Hell yeah.
Yeah. Tesla was going to call Sammy, but his mom didn't want it, so now they gonna call Helen.
I want a Tesla.
For real.
So tell Helen to swing me one of them things too, please.
Yeah, I mean, but all in all, another great episode. Like I'm loving this
season's off to a good start.
Yep.
I'm excited. Well, I guess is that the end of the episode?
No, it's time for
Jack
No.
name
that
tune. Situations will
Will
arise in our
our
life,
but
but
you
you
gotta
gotta
be
be
smart
smart about
about it.
it.
Celebrations
Celebrations
with
with
the
the
guys
guys.
I sacrifice.
Sacrifice.
You knew you
Oh, you
could
got
not
it
sleep without
out
it.
it.
I, I
I
love
loved
Oh,
you.
you are
You were
my
my
girl.
girl.
See,
Come
I
on, take it with DZ.
thought the world of you. But just a
It's
steady
okay.
leader. You don't
You
have to
have to
call.
go. It's okay, girl. I'ma be all right tonight. You
You
don't
don't
have
have to call.
to call. Don't be typing in the words, Jack. I see them
Nah,
fingers move.
just answered some emails.
Oh,
Okay,
oh.
Lauren.
No.
Jack is. But what is it?
So I do know that Jack Harlow sampled that song in a song, but I
Jack,
don't.
Jack is terrible.
Jack, you.
Get him out of here. This guy, this person goes
but other
he's
than
3
that,
decades in the
man.
game.
God. Okay.
Jack,
It's
disappointing.
not a Morion, is it?
No.
No.
Okay. Let's give him another one. Same vein.
Go ahead, what you got?
Part 1.
This is just God punishing me for my sins. Oh,
Really understand how to treat a man.
This is what I see. One will truly
did Ice Spice
understand
sample this?
How to treat
treat
a
a
man.
man. I need a girl I could be with. Somebody to be with. He with. Okay. All right. So okay.
I think Ice Spice sampled that though.
All right. So Pop, we could breathe again.
Go ahead. Don't stop now. Take it to the top now.
Okay.
I need
All right.
Who was that?
No,
wait.
Jack.
I need a
How am I
girl
ever
to
supposed to
ride,
learn if
ride,
you never give me
ride.
the
I
answers?
need a girl
Girl,
to be
in
my
my
wife.
life. I need
I
a
need a
girl.
girl who's mine, oh mine.
I need a girl
in
in my life. Okay, that wasn't the
Wait.
part 1 I was thinking about, but I was thinking about
These are my confessions.
confessions. Just when I
Until
thought I said
could never
can
kiss
say I
you.
could
It's
buy the
gonna
spot.
stop, and you
It
got one on the way.
My confessions. Damn,
Man,
I'm
I'm going,
gone.
and
I don't know what to do.
I
but
guess I gotta keep
keep
on
on
doing
doing
my
my
confessions.
This is gonna be the thing. This is. You don't know this song, Jack?
I don't know any. I think we need to amend this segment.
No.
You guys should send me like 3 artists
Nope.
each week, and I could listen up on them, and then you pull out something from the catalog.
All right.
This
Well,
is
listen.
bad.
How am I supposed to just randomly know these songs?
Carson
This
would
is-
know.
This
Oh
would be
my
like, no,
God,
he wouldn't.
Oh, Jackery.
Okay. Last
This
one.
would be
Now
like
let's take
me
it back.
quizzing you guys on songs from like 1960, and just being like, "Oh, you don't know this random song from the 1960s? How do you not know that?" And I'm giving you no.
Never feel your dear dark breath again. If I never make love to you once again,
please understand.
If I promise you, I promise you that
I think my mom's
that I
song.
don't ever
breathe again.
breathe again.
Breathe again.
Okay, Jack. The first 3 artists
Never
were Usher.
breathe again.
Okay.
Okay, this artist was Tony Braxton.
Jack,
Shout
you're
out to
bad.
Tony, man.
Do you know who Tony Braxton is?
No.
Unbreak
Usher.
my heart. Say you love me again.
Undo this hurt.
stars
when you walked
Yeah.
out my
the
door and walked out
out
of my life.
Cried
Cry
these tears.
Dog child.
Cried for me.
He wasn't man enough. Didn't you think that I was so bad? You think that I was my man, but I chose to let you go. How did you pick us to care
Kind
about
of like
it?
MJ a little bit.
Jack is over us.
I'm never gonna get her. I gotta take care of some business. If you guys actually give me like an artist to study up on, then I have no excuse. But right now it's like,
Well, I
how
mean,
am I supposed to
We
randomly
give
know?
you the artist,
Especially
and
with
study up on, and then we sing the artist's songs, and you know the artist.
yeah, that's me getting cultured. But if you guys just sing random songs
You know what?
from before I was born, how am I just supposed to randomly know them?
I've got the answer. When we are with you next week at LA, we gonna put Jack onto the WGAS Wendell station.
Jack, do you have
I'm down.
iTunes?
iTunes.
Jack's a Spotify. Jack's a
this is-
Spotify
we-
type of guy.
Y'all are old. God damn. Wendell,
iTunes is for old people?
iTunes? Wendell, what you turn 60?
I meant Apple Music. I meant Apple Music.
Oh. Oh, no, I use Spotify.
Jack,
Do you have an iPod?
let me see your iPod. Jack, do you know what an iPod is?
Jack, do you have it?
Yeah, I know what I used to rock with the
Jack, do you have a
iPod.
Walkman?
Hold on.
Jack, I take it back.
I'm dying.
meant-
Wait, hold on. Oh, I'm dying. Oh, I'm laughing at my own Jack. Hey, Jack.
What?
I can't. Hey, Jack.
If he has a Walkman in his
Oh,
hand right now.
Hey, Jack. Do you want to listen to my playlist?
Jack, do you know what that
I
is?
just dropped this. Yeah, it's a record. It's vinyl.
Oh, wait. Do you want to? I don't know. Hold on, wait, because I don't want y'all to see me. Hold on, because
Oh God.
hold on, wait. But Jack, look at what I have. No, wait. I'll answer this, Jack. I do own a record, but
Yeah.
this is just something I did at the Roots Picnic. Can you guess the only record that I have? And I got it off of eBay.
Lil Kim.
I'll give you another guess. It's always your second choice.
Destiny's Child.
All right, hold on. Look what I got. Now, I don't know how we got here, but I do own,
Oh goodness. He does own,
for whatever reason,
for whatever
I
reason.
do own
Love it.
Survivor on vinyl.
Oh.
Someone must have gifted that to you.
And I got off of eBay.
Do you have a record player?
I don't. But yeah, I got this hot list for you, Jack. Jack,
I'll have to check it out.
Jack, what's her name?
You gotta hold it closer.
I don't know.
Are you kidding me?
What's her name? Okay, what's her name?
You're just trying to embarrass me.
What's her name?
That's
Are
not
you gonna-
Beyonce, is it?
Okay, that's Beyonce.
Yeah.
Woo!
I didn't want
I
to
was
guess
gonna-
and be wrong.
We
You
were
know, that
gonna
would just be
fire him
embarrassing.
on the pod.
Whew. All right, Jack.
You didn't know that Beyonce was in Destiny's Child?
I thought she was, but I didn't want to say Beyonce and have you be like, what? Beyonce's a Destiny. What?
Okay.
Okay. Well, listen. We'll be in LA next week.
Mhm.
We will be we'll be singing up our iPods for
Yeah.
Jack.
The entire party, they're just gonna be playing throwbacks and looking at me like, you know this yet? And I'm like, DJ Caution, just put on some.
Yeah. But all right. But thank you guys. And LA, we'll see you next week. Bye, Jackery, Wendeezy.
Peace.
Survivor News. Survivor News.